Uh, Khalil Sheikh Mohammed. So yeah, the word around town is he's pushing it in and he's accepting his fate and he's what is this, a plea deal from the CIA? Or, I mean, so he can keep his family alive or what? I mean, what do you guys think this is?
Well, I mean, so there was something I saw in the information environment that said that Defense Secretary fuck's that guy's name? Lloyd, like
Yep.
rescinded the offer to take the
Really?
death. Yeah.
I did not see that.
Now, which is interesting because I didn't know. Is it because he's in DOD custody? I don't.
Right? That would make sense.
It seems weird. I wouldn't really. So from my perspective on that one, it's not even really worth. Like, why the fuck we still have this guy locked up? Like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know because in the narrative, 9/11 was real, and that's
Yeah, I think that's all it is. It's trying to keep that narrative, you know, however the lie sways,
yeah.
I mean,
I was thinking there for a
Is
second. Yeah, what do you got, Aaron?
I'm just wondering, is he in Gitmo still right now?
I thought so.
He's like the Ron Jeremy of Gitmo, right? Gitmo, right?
He does
That's,
look like Ron Jeremy,
He does
dude. He
look,
does. I knew it.
dude, and like the Gitmo thing's crazy anyway, because like, what are we still doing with that? Like this, like prison in Cuba, just like it's just kind of crazy on its face, right? Like we operate a military prison in Cuba. Cuba,
Outside
we're
the
not a military prison in Cuba. Cuba,
outside the
we're not
Geneva
even allies.
Convention. Yeah.
We're like not allies with Cuba. We
No.
just dude,
Keep
like
that
we're like
going.
kind of
Yeah.
enemies with them for the most part. You know, we
it's the
just
Yep.
most Debo shit ever,
hey,
man.
yeah, don't mind our
Yeah.
base. Don't mind our military base down here where we
Nothing to see
operate a
here.
prison. It
Yeah,
is
that's
pretty
not talked about
gangster.
enough,
Like,
man. I mean, Gitmo, I mean, it's only used. I mean, when's the last time you really heard of Gitmo? Seriously.
Well, isn't GWAT
they're
over? What are
always
they sticking in there?
remember like Obama, like one of the big Obama things was like day one, I'm closing Gitmo.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Then day
Whoops.
one he gets pulled into like the meeting room and they're like, "You're not doing
Yeah, by the
shit,
way,
dude.
that's not happening.
Sign this. It's what is this? It's the list of people we're drone bombing today.
Yeah,
Sign
no
it. Let's
shit.
go."
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
And keep
So,
signing.
so for that dude to even still be in custody and still be fighting this shit, it makes me think that there was an aspect of the planning behind 9/11 that they actually like one of these Fed ops, you know what I'm saying, where 15, 20 members of the kidnapping crew are like federal agents or something like that.
yeah, the Governor Whitmer one and stuff.
Yes. I mean, obviously that's hyperbole on the numbers, but there was a bunch of feds, you know. So like did was it orchestrated that all this planning, like, yeah, okay, we're really gonna attack these targets with these pilots. Here's the assholes. We're really gonna put them through the what was it, like the Jeddah or the Quetta? Like almost all of the terrorists went through like one single embassy for their passports and shit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So do you think that part of it? Aaron said something the other day called LIHOP, which I had not previously heard, and I was like, "Oh man, that's which means it's an acronym for Let It Happen on Purpose." LIHOP.
Oh, LIHOP. Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah,
Hey,
so like
Rick.
October 7th or whatever it is that the Israelis went through to start this fucking genocide. Allegedly, this is on YouTube. Sorry, I don't know what I'm talking about. Um, could have been a LIHOP incident. You know, like there's no way the most surveilled border on Earth, you know, didn't see this. The
Of
vaunted
course.
Israeli intelligence company. Anyway, not to get off on a sidetrack. So I wonder if that's why the guy's even still in custody. Is like he actually kind of was in on some meetings and shit. You know, like
There's got
Yeah,
to be
there's
a
so
reason to still keep them there. You know what I mean? There's a reason.
well, and
So,
who knows like what all the politics behind the scenes are. So I think with a lot of these guys, like if they don't have anybody that's negotiating on their behalf that has any kind of leverage, then they're just going to sit there and rot. Like some of these guys that got out, we traded. Like I can't remember the controversial trades, but like when Obama was president, he like traded some of those guys out of Gitmo, and then they wound up on the battlefield in Afghanistan again, tied to a bunch of
Yeah, I
shit
know. I
again. It,
know.
it
I know. I
happened at
know.
least once.
Weren't they like Bergdahl trades or something like that?
Something
Or
like that. Yeah, the Bergdahl trades, right? But so, but I think these guys like it might just be that. So who knows in his own, Sheikh Mohammed, who knows in his own world who he has like as a benefactor or not. He just might be completely out of friends.
Yeah.
yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
and so hey, that's the game these guys are in. It's interesting though, like the 9/11 stuff, like kind of recently within the last couple of years, all that stuff came out tying all these guys, like Cody just said, through like one single process,
Embassy.
like well, an embassy and then like a group of people like in the FBI that facilitated their entry visas and stuff.
Oh,
Is like how they tied them all to like either that's it was the FBI, not the CIA, right? That they tied them to.
well, so there was like there was a whistleblower, some dude that worked at that embassy was like turning these dudes down, and he
oh,
was like the chief of
Yeah,
station or the chief of mission keeps telling me to like okay these fucking guys,
yeah,
and
yeah,
then of course this is one of the like the Trump shit. Like I'm almost to the point now where it's like it was fun learning the minutia, but now I'm just like who the fuck cares? It's the
doesn't matter.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah. Um, but I almost think in the story because that's what it is. It's like a never-ending story. I think in the story that CIA dude at that outstation, like later on became some other shit, right? Like what was like Brenner that was in on writing the project for a new American century, and then he becomes like the mayor of fucking Iraq after we invaded
yeah, the
yeah.
Iraq.
Reconstruction
So
czar.
weird.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's just just like one thing we talk about a lot is it doesn't really you're never going to get any resolution. So it's
Yeah.
fun to talk about it, but all you're ever going to get is like little pieces of it that they cop to over time. This like slow trickle of release, but um you're never going to get any definitive closure on like what actually happened in nine
Yeah, I
eleven or
know.
any of that stuff, which is like a buzzkill, but it's like also like the more I am able to zoom back and look at all this stuff, the more I'm just like it's absurd, right? Like we were just talking about, like the fact that Gitmo exists, and I'm not like not from a perspective like I'm some leftist that doesn't think. I'm just saying in general, it's crazy. Like the
That it's
stuff that
still
we
open. Yeah.
do,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, just the way that like this thing
And it
that
would
this like a superpower that's
it would be like if China had a concentration camp full of fucking Uyghurs in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like we weren't allowed to like go even like inspect the like plumbing, you know what I mean? They're like, no, this is our base. But we do that everywhere. Like having spent like most of my life on bases overseas, or a good chunk of it, it's weird because you guys have exactly what I'm talking about. Like let's say we're at a base somewhere. Let's say it's Erbil, okay? Erbil Air Base in northern Iraq, right? Kurdistan. As far as we're concerned, when we're there, that's our base. Like we
Yeah.
control who can come. We treat it like it's America and like kind of a like there might be like local national workers like doing some work or whatever. The way we see them is like, hey, what's that dude doing in my space? Not he's changing the garbages in his country, right? But like as far as we're concerned, like
This is America. Yeah.
yeah, this is America. What are you doing? Hey, do you know that guy? Why is he changing? It's that kind of
Yeah.
mentality. It's
Yeah.
pretty
Yeah.
interesting.
Ignorance at its finest, for sure.
So I think that dude will probably keep rotting, man. I don't there
I mean, do you
I,
think there's any significance about the timing? Like, why now? That's it. I feel like that's the only thing we have to go on.
Dude,
Why are we being shown this at this time?
I don't think it can possibly matter because look at the pace at which things are coming, right? Nobody, you could hear the most amazing piece of information about this guy, and it
Still
wouldn't
wouldn't.
matter to most
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, it doesn't.
it might just be to push be, within the greater narrative. It might just be able to refresh in people's minds why it's okay to kill Muslims, right? Because
You're
right
not
now,
wrong.
time
Yeah.
now, we've got the Israelis just carpet bombing everything, right?
Yep.
And there's been a lot of noticing around that event, you know. So and there's one of the other items on your list to happen. So there's probably going to be a widening of that conflict any second now. Like probably
Yeah.
before this thing gets on YouTube, that shit will probably be even worse than it is now, right? So you need to kind of remind the American people, hey, remember when all these Muslims did all this evil stuff and Muslims are bad? And this guy, no, this guy does deserve the death penalty, and we're rescinding that offer. So to remind everybody that, oh yeah, no, it's good to kill
These
these
are the
dudes.
bad guys. Yeah.
Yes, well, why haven't you killed him yet?